Hey guys, Demo here, and I will be creating all things tank video for the raid upcoming. My off tank and I will be talking about all mechanics and everything for the raid coming up. So that'll be what this video is. Enjoy. Alrighty, let's see here. I'll share my screen, and we'll just go right down the line. Um, so first of all, we'll look at Plexus Sentinel. Um, have you looked at all the bosses so far?
Yeah.
Okay. And really this only pertains to heroic. So Plexus Sentinel here. These will be all mechanics for other raiders, not us. And then the first mechanic will come out, and all it is we just get debuffed, and we just need to run away. So it's right there. You can see it on this guy. Kind of poor visual. Fall off damage the farther we go. Um, he's going to go back left. Basically, the first two that we drop, it'll be two in each phase. We'll drop one right here and then one right here. Everybody with their mini circles will just come to the front and drop those, but it just leaves area denial, and we'll just want to make sure it's on the side, because as soon as he does the intermission and he goes up a phase, he's going to push us back. So we'll want to make sure that we're in the center of the room and we'll be pushed straight back. So if we drop our big circles off on the corners, or if we put it in the middle, then obviously that's going to fuck us, as we'll take damage from it. So um, he gets the buff there. The only other thing here, and I mean for all of this fight, plus Sentinel is obviously pretty easy, but the wall comes through. They tank it pretty close to the wall. So if you think about like melee, if they use their Reshi wraps, they could blink through the, especially early on, they could blink through the wall basically. So let's say that like Plexus Sentinel is here. It's phase one. He's got a big wall right here that is broken off. And you can't step through this. If you step through this, you can, but you'll take tons of damage. So you don't want to do that. So if the boss is really close to it, and he has another wall that he sends, I think that's mythic only actually, but no, I think it's heroic as well. So he sends this either way, and this wall comes through, and people have to use their Reshi wraps to get through it. Definitely heroic. He does it more on mythic. So if we have the boss really close to the wall, and melee blink right here, so if melee player blinks right here, he might go through the wall, right? You'll see what this person does is the wall is coming, as you can see, right up above. It's coming. He, being an instant dollars, a very good guild and a smart player, decides to angle it this way because he knows if he goes straight, he's going to blink through both. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So he blinks there, and it takes him right to the edge. If he would have went a straight angle, he would have went through both, and most likely probably died. So I, I don't think I like the boss. It's just tight the first wall. That's it. This first wall is just tight because we only have this room to play in, right? After this, then the wall becomes here, and then we can kind of move the boss up a little bit. Then it's not a big deal, if that makes sense. So I don't think we really need to move the boss at all. I think we can keep it relatively close, because if we start putting it in the middle, now your tank debuff that you're putting in the corner, the raid group is stacked here. Now we're taking increased damage. We're taking a fuck ton from the tank debuff. So, and it's heroic. I don't think if anybody blinks through, they'll probably still live. Not a big deal. So, um, if anything, I'll just call out that melee need to back up just a tad here. But even like right here, if you blinked right here, you might be okay. Like if you're a melee DPS player, like this Demon Hunter, he should be okay. It should be all right. Yeah, that'll be fine. So, other than that, like that's pretty much just heroic for us. Um, what I will have for this is this will be these soaks go out. They'll take these out, and then we have a group soak. So this will be the second set will always be healers and tanks, and anybody that can double soak. So you could double soak, and I can double soak. The reason why you can double soak is because Demon Hunter will be able to, you'll get knocked up, but you'll just glide back into it, or you can Infernal Strike back into it. So you can see that these people, they got knocked back, and like this dragon instantly like comes right back into it because they hover, like basically glide right back into it. And you can do the same thing for the second part of the soak. So for me, it'll be like I drop Transcendence, I can soak the first one, I Transcendence, and then I drop the second one. Does that make sense on that?
Yeah.
So that's
Can you
pretty.
charge back in off that in
Yes.
the air? Or okay.
I don't know where the charge would displace you to though, but yeah. So I'll also have Warlocks double soak. Dragons will double soak. Monks will double soak. everybody that can double soak. You don't get a debuff from soaking. So that'll be the goal. That'll be like more mythic, but even on heroic, on heroic, I'll probably just do like melee first soak, range second soak, and then we can just do whatever. We can go with the melee. So it'll just
I
be
mean, can't people just take the portal, right? Like, you just take a portal in place, pretty much.
which people.
Like anybody, right? Like if we have a warlock, can't they take the soak and then take the portal right after and just
Like
throw
demonic
it back
circle
down?
portal, or are you talking or gateway?
Yeah, like
Gate.
gateway.
No, gateway wouldn't work here. So if I play it real slow, um, you can see when they get knocked back. So it's gonna come in group soak. It's really quick. So boom, they get knocked back, and even before they land, like the demon hunter barely makes it back in, like trying to hover back in, if that makes sense. So it's like a really tight, like double, and it like pushes you back really far. So how the
Okay.
warlocks would do it would demonic circle. So they would take the first, they would get knocked up, demonic circle right there, boom, they're already back in for the second. Me, as soon as I get hit, transcendence, boom, back in the circle for the second soak. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So
So I mean, bears can just skull bash back in, honestly, right? So
bear can
Yeah,
just
skull bash or wild charge. Yeah.
yeah, either way. Yep. So, but yeah, that's the only other mechanic. And again, for Mythic, the reason why it's important on Mythic is you need a certain amount of, I think you need 5 or 6 soaking. But as you can see, right before the group soak comes out, you now have 5 players, I think. No, 4 players with a debuff. So you just lost 4 people that could soak. So now you have 8, total of 16. So you want to split it 8 and 8, and you need at least 5. And one person has it. So now you only have 15. So you need like a 7 and an 8 split. But if you can have people double soak like that, then this mechanic will be nothing. So you'll have,
okay.
you and I double soaking. I'll have healers do the second soak, and then I'll have, anybody else that can double soak. We'll try to do that. So, but that's just Mythic.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Ah,
hmm
DKs, bro.
Yeah, DK as well.
Perfect.
DK. Yep, they would. Yep, DK would. They get the
Yeah,
rate buff.
yeah.
Yep, DK will do
That's
that.
it, bro. That's advanced. Easy.
That's why they're being brought to the first boss.
That's right.
The mechanic here is just obliteration arcano cannon. It just goes on us, and it's a taunt swap. If you take the second one, 1,000% increased damage. So, and then we just drop a big puddle off at the back, and that's pretty much the whole
That's the
fight.
circle.
That's the big. That is the big. That is the tank mechanic. So that is just our big. Like this is our taunt swap. This is what you run to the back of the room, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Eradicating salvo. This is the firing 2 missiles in quick succession. This is the group soak. So that's that one. Yeah.
I still feel like and these may be some. I still feel like people can actually get knocked depending on the height, right? Like I feel like if a warlock gate was right behind them, I feel like they could.
What are you gonna do for the second soak though? Because it happens twice in the first phase. So they'd all be on debuff for the
I
gateway.
guess.
So
Well, like if you like split your group, right? Like I guess I just don't. Yeah.
yeah,
Eh,
I think you'd say gateway also for here because there's gonna be some nasty overlaps here. So you'll kill the. This is mythic,
Oh
obviously.
yeah,
So
because
the
you
ads.
want to. This is like the obstacle course, right? So like
Exactly.
maybe save a portal for that. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So it'd be like, okay, we all group up here, and there's like a really bad overlap. Let's say there's just I've seen places where like there's like let's just say orb. I can even do it on the raid plan, right? He moves up, and he moves this barrier, and you got to get over here. I've seen situations where it's literally like this, and it's like, okay, well, we'll just take gateway from here to here, and then we're across,
Yeah.
because he's gonna still be sending his things through. So you'll Reshi wrap at some point, but then it's like, okay, Reshi wraps is on cooldown. Now it's like, okay, you can take the gateway for this or something like that. So,
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, then otherwise, I think it gets, in my opinion, a little easier just because we have more room. But obviously, we'll just DPS this down, and then we can pull the boss just a little bit more forward to give people that room against it. But we've got all the way in the back. You can drop them as far as you want in the back. So on the next part, when we're all here and when you get the tank mechanic, you can still go all the way back here or all the way over here, just trying to keep this middle clear for us. So, but it'll probably just be
Okay.
something where it's like I'll take first and I'm going to take it back right. So then you just know you're back left or something like that. We'll just take it
Yeah, I was
opposite
about to say,
sides.
like, do you just want to put it like to a certain side? Like, you go to a certain side, I go to a certain side.
Yeah, I'll probably go right and you just go left and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, that works.
So, any other questions about this boss?
No.
Perfect. Okay. Number two, I'll let that video run while we look at the mechanics real quick. Very simple. Lumithar. So it's got the webs, and the webs on heroic we only have to kill one set, and so on mythic you have to kill two sets, but you only have to kill one ring. And we just have to make sure that we get a tank frontal here, which is piercing strand, and we have to hit piercing strand. We have to hit the layer weaving with piercing strand, and once it does that, this can be damaged then. So this has a woven ward is what it says, and it reduces any damage. It can't, it's immune. And then we hit it with the tank frontal, and it makes it damageable, and it gives us our path out. So pretty straightforward there. And then in the intermission, I'll start with the intermission, and I'll talk about how we're going to rotate. But it's just a tank like frontal that needs to be soaked by the group. So we'll do on heroic. I'll just call I'll be first, and I'll call a melee soak. So it'll be all melee healers plus all melee DPS, and then you'll taunt, and then he'll do an arcane outrage, and then it'll basically be like into another tank frontal, and then it's just aerial denial as we go around in a circle. So as we look, so here's the strand. So the tanks are most likely off to the side, as you can see, because you don't want to hit anybody else with it. So I don't know if it's paladin or whatever it is. And here are the strands. So it'll be just possibly me first, whatever. On heroic, you get a little leeway, just because if you miss the first one, you get a second strand. So again, on heroic, there's not the double strand, it's just one. So you hit it with the heroic or hit it with the strand, and then it becomes damageable. And then that's our path through. So then it's all DPS swap, and then we're just chilling. So, and mythic obviously double there. But then they break their
So is
strands.
it a first line, second line type deal?
The first line, second, explain that.
Like the boss has that tank frontal, right? Like that tank line that comes out. So is it? Do you take the first one? I take the second one
Yeah.
in mythic, or is it okay? Cool.
Even
So
on
it's like a
heroic, it's
quick
a
taunt and
taunt
then
swap.
just aim.
Yeah, increase the damage taken from piercing strand by 500%. So it comes out with two
The
of
second
them
one, okay.
really quickly. So we'll see it here again. And this is just a rinse and repeat of all of phase one. So the strands come out, and then the tank mechanic will come out. So I would hit the first one here. I hit that one. You would taunt, and then on heroic, you just hit whatever one. It doesn't matter. If you hit nothing, it doesn't matter. You could hit this. We probably wouldn't want to hit the same one again, just because the melee probably have come over here to start DPSing that. So I'm thinking tanks on this fight. It basically bosses in the middle the whole time, and then you get a strand. Let's say like right here. This is the strand we're gonna hit. I got a bad one right here, but that's fine. So we're hitting that strand right there, and then the other tank is just going to be standing over here. And then you'll just taunt,
Yeah, I
and then
guess
if you hit
they
that
go
one,
far
sure.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the majority of the group will just be stacking right here, just waiting for
Is
the
is
this one to
there
get done.
is there going to be a time where like you could Reshi wrap one of the strands, or
Reshi
would?
Wrap only works on the first boss, so
Okay, cool.
that yeah, it's a good question. A lot of people thought that they were like, oh, I can use Reshi Wraps on this fight, right? And it's like, no, like Reshi Wraps is only for the first fight, so, and technically the seventh, but yeah.
Could you Warlock Gate skip just a set?
No, this stuns you if you get through it through Warlock Gate as well. So the only ones that
Okay.
get through would be Transcendence. You can Transcendence on the outside, but nothing's reliable. Like you can't cheese the mechanic. I guess if you had 20 monks, you had or 20 mages or Warlock Portal, as in their demonic circle can go over it. Those are the only classes that can get through it. So, but obviously not reliable. So players like DPS will get the tethers. Nothing that we have to deal with as tanks, and then it's just DPSing these down, getting out, and then breaking the tethers. Big AoE
Okay.
here, nothing major. We still deal with that mechanic. We just got to get out. She's still just stuck to the platform. She phases at 50%, so they just rinse and repeat, continue to do the same thing. On Mythic, they have to soak some pillars, which it doesn't even look like on their testing they got pillars. Yeah, they didn't get pillars on testing, which is interesting. That's like the Mythic mechanic, is that there's like pillars that are channeling into her and people have to soak them. Oh, there they are. There we go. All right, at 50% she phases. So what we'll do here is that this will be really hectic. Basically, I envision it. It's just gonna be like, oh, she's phasing. Fuck. Like, what do we do? And like the raid will be thinking that, right? So let's just say that for the majority of the raid, they've been dropping their silk out in the back. It's a 40-yard break, so most of the silk is here. Let's just say, I think it starts to grow a little bit too. So you could even say, what am I trying to do here? So you got a lot of silk here. So this is like where we want to start. So I'll grab the boss first, and she'll come and she'll be mobile. And we want to put the puddles that she's going to drop next to the silk. That way, when we rotate this way, when we're going up and around this way, we have the most amount of room at the end of the fight. So the first, I'll take it here. You know, the off tank will be here, and all my melee will do a melee soak first. So melee are all here, and they're in the frontal. So the boss will do a frontal, and then it'll continue to drop puddles. So she drops a big puddle in the middle, something like this, um, and then she just continues to drop puddles that continue to grow. So our goal is to continue to drop these puddles, continuing to do the frontals, but do it in this motion. So then on the frontal, you'll taunt, and then you'll pull the boss here, and then I'll be calling that range will want to get in. So all of my melee that were here, they'll want to stand on the side and hit the boss, and then we'll be dropping a puddle here, and then my range classes will get in with you. So all my range classes and healers, they get the frontal, the soak, and then she'll drop more puddles, and then we just continue to rotate around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, would it be better for range to be in the first one
Potentially. Let's
so that
look.
they can so that they can park and bark?
So this is the transition right here. So she's just transitioning, pretty bad POV, but that's okay. So she's gonna drop here. So she drops a big puddle right in the middle. And so I would say
Okay.
that I would take the boss and I'm gonna pull it like to right where my mouse is. And I'm thinking this first frontal is gonna be a big frontal right out to here and all melee soaking it. So they kind of keep it in the middle, which is fine too. Circle spawn. Okay, they start to pull it out. I'm pointing it towards the wall. That's the biggest thing that we want to do. We always want to point it towards the wall. So it wouldn't really matter who's first. I think at this point we've lusted. So I would honestly still think that melee would want to be first because my range should be over here. My range should be over here knowing that they're not first. And they should have been planting the whole time during lust. So they lusted probably at what? 625-ish? 6...
Mhm.
640, somewhere in there, 630. So they've gotten 35 seconds of just planting. That looks good, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So melee there. So that's the first one. And then my melee should rotate over to the other side, and my range should be close. So my range should be close. Now in Mythic, you have a circle after the outrage. So it's going to do her outrage, a circle. This is a spread. This is not on heroic. Doesn't matter. She's still going to do the outrage, though, which drops the puddle. And then it's a rinse and repeat. So now it's okay. Second set. So this would be your soak, and you'd be with the range group. And so now he's going to get in front. You're pointing it towards the wall. My melee group would be over here, so they're not in the soak. And then getting ready to spread. Arcane Outrage, she drops the puddle again. And this is Mythic, not Heroic, so we don't have to worry about the spread. But we just continue to rotate the boss now this way. And now it's my soak, melee group. Pointing at the wall, all of my melee are in front of this, all my range start to get out.
This is 50%.
This is 50%, yep. And so then
Okay.
this will most likely be a lost on 50. Now, being Heroic first week, I don't expect a lot of problems. So it'll be, Cauldron of Carnage should be fine. No issues.
Yeah.
But this is obviously, you can continue to do phase one as much as you want, but phase two here, that's where like you just don't want this, right? You just don't want like, oh fuck, like this is a huge, like this is just poor planning in my opinion. Like the boss should have been put more over here and ready for a frontal behind us, like middle to behind us. So
Yeah, we should like move
I
it and then aim it back, right? Move it, aim it back.
correct. Versus
so
like this is like
so
a huge frontal where now it's like, okay, shit, like that could hit a lot of people. So
Yeah.
so something I saw that maybe you said different, and maybe this doesn't matter at all. You said you wanted to keep that first soak right near the silk that she dropped early.
mhm.
It seemed like they moved the boss maybe too far left early,
Yeah, or right.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Because you're going to see
and
they're
I
also
think
going to, they're getting close to their silk on this side, which is your softened range.
right,
You're just running out of room at that
right,
point. So
right. So, and that's what I was gonna say is like the soft enrage is just, hey, we're out of room, everybody dies because we just take damage.
yeah, and it's ramping
Uh,
damage towards the end too. So, but yes, yep, that's exactly right.
okay.
But yeah, pretty simple.
Oh,
As you can see, there was over there. They just got to their silk is just like right over here. So, and with tuning, they're going to up the boss's health and shit like that. So it's going to be more difficult. So, but yeah,
Right.
pretty straightforward. Anything else on this one?
No.
I think that's pretty much it. It's just this writhing rave or whatever. So, which is It's just as our taunt swap right here. So
That's the beginning.
that is the stage 2. Stage 1, this is the piercing strat.
Sorry, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
no
Yes.
worries. So yeah, that's just our taunt swap and the group soak, so no problem there. Okay,
So
Soulbinder.
tank line
Hmm.
and then cone soak. Okay, cool.
Pretty much. And then, like I said, the biggest thing for us will be just making sure that we are ready to be transitioned at this point. Just making, and this is like more of a group thing. It's just like the tanks making sure that like we know what we're doing. We're going to be going this way around the room, and so then it's just like making sure our group is ready for that too. So, which is my job. So,
Sure.
next boss. I kind of hope they add a mechanic for this boss, but we'll see. Um, all we have to do is taunt swap on Mystic Lash. That's it. There's literally nothing else. None of the ads do anything. We got to pick up the ads. They do things, but we don't have to worry about them. It's not like we have to do specific things. But that's pretty much it. So, um, yeah, let's look at this fight. Let's look at it. The biggest thing is for the positioning. So he's going to spawn canisters. As you saw in the video, he's going to spawn canisters that look something like this. And you're going to get 6 orbs, so you can take care of 6 of these. There's a total of 12, but you can basically break out 6 of them before the fight. And so how we're going to start with this fight is he'll start up here, and we're just going to put the boss in between here. So it's just really important that you and I understand where are we going next. So if we put the boss here, whoever gets the orb frontal, they're going to run behind the boss. Because if you're between the orb frontal, so if the boss is going to, let's just say we have the boss right here, and he does the orb frontal, and you need to point it at these canisters to break them, and once they break, then they can be damaged down and they take 100% increased damage. Anything that's not left or not broken, and that's where the intermission comes in, they spawn the ads, okay? So if we tank the boss right here, he would fire an orb at this player. If this player doesn't move in time, they soak the orb, it doesn't break the canister. That means we have more ads in the intermission. Not as fun. So that's why we'll tank the boss right in between. And this will be like a big, like, basically melee range wall be like kind of stacked here, loose stacked around. And whoever gets the mechanic that gets the frontal, they'll run behind. Then there's no question. Like, you could game it right here and say, okay, like I'm going to stand right here and I'm going to dodge the orb. Like, I'm not going to risk it, right? Like, I'm just going to put the boss right here. And anybody that gets the orb, they're going to go behind it, so there's no chance for fuck up, basically. So then for our like movement, we'll do that, and then we'll kind of put the boss here, and there's a knockback. So then we can all get knocked back this way. It's just a min-max thing for range, basically. But then we'll just pull the boss to the other side. We'll do these two, and then here, if it's your boss, my boss, it doesn't matter. We'll just do 2 in the middle. So we'll just pull the boss between 2 in the middle, and then we'll do those 2. And so then our intermission will look something like this, with all of these gone, and then we'll pull the boss to one side, getting ready for intermission shortly. And then all of these will spawn into ads. Whatever ads that it's kind of random, but basically they'll change into, let's just say, one assassin here, one assassin here, or, sorry, they'd be actual people. So phase blade, let's say 2 phase blades, 2 mages. The mages need to be kicked, so off tank, you know, or range DPS should kick these. So we got a couple mages over here. Whoever's tanking the boss or not tanking the boss, whoever's not tanking the boss should look to try to kick these if we can. These mages to get them in. And we basically just pull everything, put it right on the boss. And it doesn't do much, especially on heroic. So, and then it's rinse and repeat. Once we do that, once we're finished on this side, he'll do 12 orbs again. So he does the 12 orbs. He puts them all up, 12 canisters. And since we're already on this side, we'll just start down here. And then we'll go to the other side. And then we'll do these 2. That'll get rid of 6. And then we'll just put it over here. These will spawn into ads. And then we'll go to this side again. And at that point, the boss will probably be dead.
So you'll always get at least 6 ads.
Pretty much, yeah. As if the boss
Okay.
is right now, yes. So this is where they pull it right here. And they're going to put it right in between. And we could put it even more in between. This is fine, but you could put it between. You're going to see these 2 people are going to get an orb. First, they're going to get orbs that shoot out. We have nothing to do with this. There's the canisters becoming active. Each of them tell a different ad. You can see that this says Phase Blade, this says Assassin. I think on Mythic you kind of maybe want to pick which ones you deal with, but on Heroic it doesn't matter. We're just trying to get rid of 6 ads. So these people get circles, convergence. Just don't point them at the group. We have nothing to do with that though. As you can see, Like this guy, like trying to not point his at the group. This fucking melee, of course, being melee. Sure. These are the two orbs that people. This is what we want to like make sure we help the group out as much as we can. So he is standing in front. I'd be surprised if this gets broken. Yep, 100%. Yeah, I love that. I fucking love that. So this person runs behind. So the orb is going to come from the boss and hit the canister. This person is standing in front of the canister and not behind because I'm a melee DPS and I don't give a fuck, right? And all of a sudden, he gets hit by the orb. It doesn't break the canister. So that's why you put it close and you always say, go behind, go behind, go behind. So um, that takes 100% increased damage once it gets broken. He's going to do a knockback here on Mythic, or that's the aerial denial on Mythic. That doesn't happen on Heroic. And
So
then
wherever you land, you get the denial.
on Mythic, yes.
That's what it looks like.
So
Yeah.
that'll be more of like on Mythic. It'll be like you finish these and then you pull to the corner or something like that. We're going to pull the boss to the corner over here or something along that line. We'll see what top guilds do when they kill it, but that
Uh,
seems like the most reasonable thing.
and would you want to be like harder stacked there
Yeah.
together? Like pull the boss to the corner,
It looks like
range and
that almost
melee
could
just
be
hard
like
stacked?
pixel stack basically, and you'd only drop like one puddle. Which again, I think they'll change. This fight just seems way too easy for a third boss. It almost seems like you'd
Can
be the second
you
boss.
can you go back again
Yeah. How far?
until they actually right here?
Yeah.
The knockback happens. They take damage.
I hate these frames. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. So he's doing the cast right now. So
So the initial hit, and then when they land, do they take damage from their puddle? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like, I would
It
assume like
doesn't.
if you pixel stack, then it'll. I mean, if you pop a personal right, and then you all land in the same puddle, I think you should be okay.
yeah,
It
So that
looked
means
like
we
there
don't even
was.
really need. We don't even need to move the boss. We just need to move everybody else. Just needs to move towards right now towards the left side, right? Like after,
yeah. And
right? So
on
like after they pop their thing.
a heroic, no aerial deny on heroic, just mythic. So if I didn't say that, so
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. I'm
yeah,
just trying to think of like future planning, right? Like
hmm
positioning wise.
yeah, yeah. I think you would. In obviously you're gonna want to come back here later, so I think you would probably, like I said, I think you'd put it in the corner somewhere here.
Yeah.
That way, then when it pushes you back, you're stacked here, and maybe the next time you come down here, you're gonna go down to this side, and then you get pushed back, and then your stacks are down here. But trying to keep like obviously the middle as clean as possible. But yeah, as far as that, there's the Mystic Lash. It's like 5 consecutive hits, just a taunt swap, not that big of a deal. Um, so these players get targeted. I think it fucked up or something. No, it still got him. He's gonna target these people. Okay, so we get 2 beams. The one
Van, were
person.
you saying something by the way?
Oh, about what?
I don't remember. Van was saying something before I interrupted.
I was gonna say when I looked at the health bars, it looked like there's like a little grace period from the time that you drop the puddle to the time that you take any damage. Looked like the guy that we're watching, he ran through multiple people's puddles, and that's like one of the only health bars I saw like really move through that. So it looks like pixel stacking would probably be the way to go. Especially everybody just moves immediately.
Yeah,
And you
or
just
at
take that
multiple
initial hit.
or at multiple applications, then all of a sudden ramp up the damage on it. So if you have 10 people land in the same spot, all of a sudden instead of taking 3 mil, you're taking 30 mil. Maybe that's how it works.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see how it goes. But
Yeah.
this person right here goes behind. Bogo, maybe Wee Bogo. He goes behind. I wonder if the other person goes behind. But as soon as they go behind, yeah, the other one's behind. Boom, both hit. That's exactly what you want to see. So we just cleave these down. Pretty straightforward. Again, they're taking 100% increased damage. As soon as they're dead, we can start to move the boss. So on Heroic, we would start to move, but it's Arcane Explosion first and getting knocked back towards middle. So that would be our goal here. These people obviously need to drop stuff over there and things, this is just testing. Under tune doesn't look great. It's all good. Now they just pull it to the middle. So, and we're going to pull it between 2 canisters. This Resto Druid's not giving us a great POV. That's okay. So Soulfly Annihilation comes out. They get behind. As long as you're behind, you'll be fine. Boom, hits both. Now he's going to do, shortly after, he's going to do his cast to release everybody else. So they finish him. He's going to release everybody else here. I thought it was a little quicker than this. I apologize. All right, Essence Explosion blows them all up. And so this would be, I would be saying, like in my, my perspective, I would be saying that we'd want to move the boss up because we know that there's going to be 6 ads on this side basically. So the boss is like right here right now on their video, but there's 4 ads over here. And so I would be saying that like I want my mages, I want Cryo to move up, I want other people to move up so that they're ready to kick any mages so we can get them all into the group. So assassin there, a mage there, he's going to start casting right away, as you can see, and we kick it, he comes in, a cast gets over on that side, cast is going off right now, we get a grip, finally raid buff is useful, and go from there. But you don't really need to grip them, but as you can see, we just burst them all down. Especially on heroic, it's going to be exactly the same thing.
Yeah, just straight cleave,
Yep.
honestly.
Yeah. There's a couple of mechanics that they do, but it's just, as you can see, an ambush happens on them, they get out, and that's it. So nothing that we're going to have to really worry or to think about on heroic. It's just now explosion again, and then they go to the other side. So we would have been on this side on heroic, so that when the explosion happens, we just got pushed back into this canister. And then we do the whole thing. It's just a big group movement fight, really, at the end of the day. These come back up, goes from there. Any questions about this one?
No.
I don't think there's anything. Yes,
How long does that area now last? The entire fight?
whole fight. I don't know
Okay.
how many stacks of this. I don't know if it's going to be taunt on 5, because it's going to be every 1 second for 5 seconds. So you get 50, or you get 5 stacks, so you take 50% increased damage from Mystic Lash. But I guess like my general consensus on normal and heroic of a day 1 is that we should both run defensive trinkets, whether it's bomb suit plus ritual of mud or whatever we get. We should just both run defensive trinkets just in case like one of us goes down and it's like, because all of a sudden like I don't know, like I was doing something I didn't taunt or whatever, and like you had to take an extra Mystic Lash. That way you're just like, you've got the defensive trinkets for it. Us living, we'll make sure that if we die, right, the biggest thing about like that'll halt progression is if we die. Not even progression, I would just say like the speed of normal and heroic. We wipe once to a boss because we died, like, that's unfortunate because it shouldn't have happened, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
Get that mud, baby.
I got mud, don't worry. So yeah, I think that's good. Okay, next boss here, Forge Reaver. Quite a bit going on here. So this will just be our taunt swap, overwhelming power. He just continues to do blast his current target, and it increases damage you take. So this will just be eventually, I don't know, who knows, 5 stacks, 6 stacks, whatever it is. This will be normal though, normal taunt swap. The Arcane Obliteration. This goes on a player, and then they soak it, and then we spawn an Arcane Echo. So then we have 2 things that we need to tank. So we need to tank the boss, and we need to tank the Arcane Echo. And the boss and the Echo cannot be together. If they're together, then they get... while the Forge Reaver and his Echoes are within 20 yards of each other, their damage done is increased by 75%, and their damage is reduced by 90%. So this is just as simple as like when the group soak happens, it spawns an Echo. The Echo will stay with the ads. The boss is pulled out. So whoever's got the boss at the time pulls the boss out. And whoever has the Echo tanks the Echo. So pretty straightforward there. We'll see how that looks. And then your intermissions. Your intermissions, you've got 3 pillars, and you're going to get these shielded attendants. So these attendants will spawn, and we'll end up having 2 pillars left. So these arcane collectors, and we'll end up having to have these shield attendants be between the Ritual Forge in the middle, and between the Ritual Forge and the Collector, so that these will end up soaking it. So these collectors will channel. Upon reaching full energy, the Arcane Collector channels into the Manaforge, inflicting 4.7 million arcane damage to all players every 1 second for 4 seconds. Another reason why it's like just for good first run tank trinkets. What if we fuck up and we gotta soak it or something like that? Otherwise, like if they channel into the Arcane Forge or the Manaforge, the raid will take damage. So someone's got to soak it. It's either tanks, but the idea is that these shielded attendants will soak it. So these shielded attendants, they soak it, and then we don't take the AoE raid damage. I'll show you in the video. It sounds a little confusing. The only other thing is that these had a lot of health on the PTR, these little shielded attendants guys, and they have a mechanic where each consecutive melee attack against the target increases attack speed by 8%. So there's 2 of them, and they're the only things that have to be tanked in the intermission. So it could be at some point a tank swap. Maybe when we get one of the collectors down, or 2 of the collectors down, we do a taunt swap on each of ours. So you'll have one and I'll have one. And so we'll do a taunt swap. That way it'll reset the attack speed on them. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Then stage 2, nothing different. So just overwhelming power. It's basically enrage. So let's look here. What do we got? We'll go 1.25 here. Okay, so this is like your Manaforge in the middle, this like big circle. It doesn't like really look like a ritual, but that's what it is. So he's gonna spawn these collectors. So he's channeling into a collector right now. It's on this backside. It's just a big pillar, and he's gonna end up having 3 on the fight. On Mythic, you have to spawn the ads behind this orb, but on Heroic there's no orb. So what'll end up happening is we'll have a stack point right up here towards the top, and we'll have everybody drop their ads that they're going to spawn right here, and we'll just want to have the boss on that ad, on the ads every time, so that it can be cleaved, the ads can be cleaved, and the boss dies. But basically, when the ads spawn on Mythic, they have a shield, and it has to be dragged through this void puddle before they can be damaged. So now they lose the void puddle, and there you go. This is the tank soak, so this will be on one. I don't think this is on the tank. I think this is on a person. That's what it sounded like on it. I can't remember exactly. It doesn't matter either way. But the Arcane Echo unleashes a burst of energy onto his current target. It's at the tank. So this is also a tank mechanic. So it's whoever's tanking will get this. I'll do a melee and a range soak, so you can't soak twice. So like I'll get the first one and I'll just say melee soak. So that'll be melee healers plus melee DPS. And they will soak that. And everybody else out. Range DPS will be out. And then he spawns the Echo. So we'll want to keep the Echo towards our tank spot. So looking at Forge Reaver here, if we are tanking Forge Reaver all the way at the top, and our stack spot for all of our ads to spawn is right here, whatever we are killing, we want to make sure that we keep it on our tank spot. So here's our collectors. There'll be a collector here, there'll be a collector here, and there'll be a collector here. And eventually he's going to spawn these ads that try to navigate towards these collectors. But what we're going to do is we're just going to have everything right towards orange. This is our kill zone. So as soon as we spawn the Echo, the boss needs to go away. The Echo stays up here. We cleave down the Echo and all the ads, and then we just rinse and repeat. As soon as the Echo dies, we're good to bring the boss back in. Any questions there?
No.
Would this be a good fight for a possible extra tank in? Just something to think about. You
No.
said if you fuck up those collectors do
No.
extra damage that one person could soak.
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
I don't think 3 tanks. No, I think it's a clear 2 tank fight. So the boss gets pulled away here. Some people still on the boss. At this point, the tank should only be here, in my opinion. The tank's only here. Everybody else is just on your stack point, cleaving all of the ads. So that's what I would think. So tanks here.
We're running like the most mobile tanks, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we're fine. Like we're gonna be totally chilling. So whoever's got the boss here, the Echo is somewhere over at this point, over here in the fight, and they're spawning ads over on that side too. So now the boss, they just killed it. As you can see, everyone's running back. They should pull the boss back over to the other side, back up to the front of the room. So they're pulling it there. He spawns a void right there, and they need to be behind. That does not the mechanic on Heroic, that is just the Mythic mechanic. So we would still have these people spawn orbs at our stacked location. This is the second soak for the tank. I'll back up just a second. So this would be, okay, I took the first one. This would be yours now. So you're going to tank this Echo. So you're going to taunt this Echo and keep it next to the ads, and I'm taunt the boss away. And now you guys cleave everything down over there. So Echoes are getting killed. And this is on Mythic where they're dragging the Echo to the different ads. And they have to do that because they have to deal with the Void. On Heroic, we don't have to deal with the Void. We can just plop everything right on. Anytime you get any mechanic that's going to spawn ads, drop it in orange. And we can do that.
So whoever, let's say you start with the boss, right?
Sure.
And you get the tank soak first. That's
Yeah.
what spawns the ad, right? And so are you going to take the boss away or do I take the boss away?
Let me think about it for a second. I've got the ad on me, which means I've been tanking the boss. So I should take the ad, you should take the boss.
Okay.
Because
So whoever gets the soak, you stay.
whoever gets the soak stays.
Okay. Yeah, I think that
Thinking.
works.
Yes, because you'll tank the Echo. Because we thinking if I get the tank soak, I've most likely been tanking the boss, so I have quite a few high stacks probably. So then that'll be a taunt swap there, and it might even be that might be just our taunt swap. Is every time that the Arcane Echo comes out, we do a taunt swap.
That's
and
what
that's
I'm
just
thinking.
it. So you'll take as many stacks as you want here, especially on Heroic, won't matter that much. So then let's just say I'm tanking the boss here, right? So I'm getting quite a few stacks. Perfect, no problem. The Arcane Echo's still up. And then, okay, I'm still tanking the boss. I'm going to probably get another Echo here in a second. I think it's only 2 per phase though, so it probably already finished. But let's just say you would get another one here. Um, then my stacks would be really high. I would tank the Echo, you would tank the boss. So yeah, you only get 2 per phase. So they're just cleaving down these ads, all that good stuff. And doing with the ads. He's going to then transition after this last one. It gets pretty hectic towards the end. So he starts spawning a lot more ads. So, but again, we're all putting them in just one location. That's why it looks hectic on Mythic, because they have to drag him through here. So now he's going
Yeah,
into
that
his
makes
intermission.
sense.
And they have to split damage here, but on Heroic we don't. We'll just go kill one pylon. So we'll probably kill like left or right. It doesn't matter. We probably won't kill back. So we kill the collectors, and they're getting energy. So they can't see the energy on his frames, but once they reach 100 energy, they start channeling into the forge. So, and they're trying to kill them all at the same time. Here is the attendance. I'll just say something like, like I'll pick the one up in the back or something like that. You pick the one up in the front of the room by the boss. Boss isn't tanked right now or nothing. So what'll happen is we'll kill one of these collectors, and then we'll go as a group, and then one tank will be off to the side. So if you say, okay, we're in intermission, we have 2 attendants spawn like this. It'll say, okay, this one's dead. We've killed this. We went left first. Okay, so the whole group, let's say, is here. We've got the whole group here killing this collector. So everybody's here, and maybe I'm here. And then I said I'd pick up the back one, so I'm going to take the back one, and I'm just going to make sure that the collector is between, or the attendant is between the collector and the Manaforge in the middle. That's it. You're going to pick up the other one, and you're going to start tanking it right here, and just make sure that the attendant is between the collector and the Manaforge, just like this. So whenever this reaches 100 energy, when he starts channeling into the Manaforge, the collector will start soaking it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I don't know if we'll exactly see that here. So the attendants come up, he taunts them. I think they're going to start channeling. I think this is the channel right here. So this would be soaked by the collector, basically, or the attendant. There you can see, yep, lots of damage. So, and they pretty much killed them all at the same time. Tuning on Mythic was obviously not very good. That'll obviously they didn't even have to do the mechanic. They just killed all of the collectors at the same time and then just did it. But on Heroic, at least, well, that's what we'll do. So this is where, like, a lot, even in normal testing, these attendants had really high health. So I still had 2 attendants up, and I think that might have been because you were supposed to, like, they're supposed to take health, their health is supposed to get chunked by the channel, if that makes sense. So since nobody, like, even on my normal testing did that, they came into here with high health. So this would be like, okay, the boss takes a damage amp right now. He's channeling. It would be a good time for us to make sure that we taunt swap, just making sure that, hey, each time these attack us, 8% increased damage on themselves, or attack speed. So we'll just want to make sure we just taunt swap and get the stacks to drop. So other than that, it'll just be cleave these down, and the boss pushes at 15%. It was 25% on testing, but now it's 15%. So, and then it's rinse and repeat. That's the whole fight. I think like
Okay.
right here, if like you were taunting, let's say you were tanking it first, right? So you have high stacks. You could even do a taunt swap in the middle, but if you didn't, right? So you're gonna have high stacks. You've got the boss right now. You're gonna get the group soak here in a second. So you get the group soak. There's probably a taunt swap that happens before that, honestly, but because it's just we've been in this phase for too long, stacks would be high before the first soul comes out. So that's that, and then yeah, who's ever tanking the boss at that time tanks the echo, and then it's an off swap there. So every set of stacks, and rinse and repeat. Keeping the echo on the ads just like this. And again, all of our echoes will spawn up here. All of our echoes will be topside. So, but that's pretty straightforward.
The echoes are dropped from the tank soak.
That's correct. Yep. Those are fixated on players. So you can see they have little lines. These little lines are for the little ads. So these players get that. They drop it behind that, drag it through.
Oh, those are the things that spawn in. Okay, I see.
Yep.
Okay,
And then the echo is from the tank soak. That is correct. Like the big group soak. So,
very good.
and you can
Cool.
see those players, they're the ones targeted and goes
Oh,
through.
good.
Perfect through. Again, are they going to skip the intermission? No. So they do another intermission here. And then manifestations go. I wonder if they'll actually be able to tank any of it. He pulls it off to the side. Looks like they're going to kill it all at the same time again. Yep. So,
Even on Mythic, this fight looks fairly straightforward.
yeah, it's just all of a sudden the tuning gets wild. Like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, that hits really hard or one thing. So then he pushes you back and then you start the intermission. So, and then it's just a continuous suck. So boss goes to the back of the room and you and I just taunt swap on that, but nothing else. Ads still spawn. No echoes, but just little ads. So now they spawn these guys. And eventually, then you just cleave them down, and it just continues to spawn more and more. The suck becomes greater, and it's just a push to the end. So, Death's Advance again, great raid buff. So
That's 15%, right?
that's 15%.
50%.
That's
That's when
correct.
it happens.
Yeah, 15%. So
Is that going to be a lust on that damage amp after that intermission,
I,
or is it going to be a lust on rip? You think?
I have no idea when you'll less in this fight. I think it's
I
15%
think
seems
saving it for 15% is so long.
yeah 15% seems yeah not great. So, but we'll see. Soul Hunters. Let's see here. Pretty kind of an ass boss, honestly. It was kind of mechanical vomit. So, Void Guy, we don't really do anything with. We follow him wherever he goes. That's the gist of it. Where he's gonna port around the room and things like that. We just tank the other two on top of him. So I think he's got a threat table. I think he still will melee us, but he doesn't do any mechanics to us. That's this guy. So he does a mechanic that the raid has to deal with, and he does a void step. Void step just makes it so that he has to, like, again, he just goes in random spots, so we have to follow him. The Havoc Demon Hunter does I-beam, and so we'll just want to make sure that the I-beam is pointed out towards the raid. So this person will be here, and it'll be a clear taunt swap, basically. Like, I'll take I-beam or something like that, and I'll be pointing it, if the raid is all right here, we'll take the I-beam goes this way. That way nobody gets hit by it, and then you'll get fractured. So if I'm doing I-beam, you'll get fractured then. And so fractured, what ends up happening is tank gets fractured here. They get a shattered soul, just like a Vengeance Demon Hunter ability, and somebody has to soak it. So it'll be off tank probably soaks one, and then one other player will soak one. So it's 2 souls. Shatters their soul, increasing damage taken from fractured by 125% for 30 seconds. So that's your taunt swap, and the same thing with I-beam. As it'll take increased damage from I-beam. So now the taunt swap is that you'll take I-beam, you'll point it away from the group, and then I'll take Dark Sorrow, and I'll get a Soul Shatter. So that's pretty much it. The reason why you'll probably do 2 is just because of this part, reduce their healing received by 33%. Players other than the target can collect the fragment, suffering 416k. I think, yeah, that's perfect. Yep. So that's pretty much it. And this fight it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be hectic. It just because it's just mechanical vomit, just a bunch of shit happens all the time. But if you can keep, I've said this in like as a raid guide, there's not much that we do from tanks here. It's just making sure that we get fractured, and then I-beam comes out, taunt swap. And then fracture, I-beam, taunt swap. That's pretty much it. And so then I'll probably designate, like, I'll pick up one of them, and then maybe on heroic I might be able to pick up 2. I don't know. Probably not. It'll be 66% reduced healing. That's quite a lot. So it'll be just like a melee goes out and gets it. So it'll be something like a
Do
rogue
we
or
have
something.
DKs?
Yes, we do. Dread would pick up 1 with AMS. Yes,
Could they? I was about to say, like, could they just AMS one?
most likely. Most likely. Intermissions, we don't have to worry about anything. So, I'll just look at the mechanics here. So we get put in a circle. We can't leave the room basically. Those are the people that get ire first. That's a raid mechanic that we don't deal with. So thinking just tanks here. There is the fractured. So the tank just got fractured, and there's the 3 soaks, and then I-beam over there. The other thing that I like what they did was that obviously tank's gonna get fractured, and then you don't want to point the I-beam at the same spot, right? So you got some people soaking here, and you don't want to point the I-beam at them. So just make sure that we're aware of that. And then it's a taunt swap at that point. Now he's going to do a void step. He runs away. We just pull the bosses on top.
I would assume the I-beam follows your target, right? So, like, you wouldn't be able to grab that soul.
I-beam follows their target, so you wouldn't be able to grab that soul. Say that. What do you mean by that?
Right, go back, go
Sure.
back.
Do you want to go back to the IB?
I think what he
To the
means
to the fracture.
when he's getting fractured, you don't want to go grab your
Oh,
soul
yes, you
right
wait.
while the I beam is going. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Was that what you were saying,
Right. So
CJ?
it actually, yeah. So it'll actually be raid members grabbing those souls.
Yeah, or it could wait. This can wait till after I beam. So it'll be 2 souls on heroic. So I would get that, and then it could wait. But yeah, it could be otherwise just both melee go soak it, which would be fine. Gash on one, and
Okay.
then I don't care any other melee.
Okay. I see. For some reason, I was thinking it was like a catch the soul before it lands on the
Mm,
ground type thing, but it's
yeah,
not.
they stay on the ground for quite a while, and they don't have to be soaked instantly. But I think you'll want them soaked. The strike cleaves the target's soul into the fragment. The fragment draws upon the target's soul, reducing their healing. I think this maybe goes away once they're soaked, so you just take reduced healing until they're soaked. But yeah, we'll just have melee soak them. I'll just have like 2 people for sure. 2 melee soak
Hold
them
on.
through.
Can I
Mm-hmm.
go down to that frailty again?
Yep.
Fragment draws upon the target's soul. Okay, so in heroic it's 67%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Healing reduction, and then in mythic you're gonna want to do it faster because it's
That'd be 100%.
not 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's 3 of them. Yep. So yeah, I think we'll just plan on 2 melee getting it. I'll just say Gash will do it every time, and Dread, Gash and Dread. So we'll plan on that. Yeah, and you've already seen the whole fight. So that's it. He void steps away. We'll follow him. It's on the raid to make sure that they clean up these puddles very quickly to make sure that our space stays good. Um, this will be a singular soak, so there's no chains. That's Sigil of Change, which doesn't happen on heroic. This is the hunt, which we need to soak. We don't need to, but we can double soak. We can double soak and help out. On heroic, you'll still get these circles, so we could even stack, so we can make sure that we're just in it and we could help. But there's 3 of them on heroic or mythic. There's 3 of them, and on heroic there's only 1. So that's it. So there's fell beam again, and then you'll get fractured again. Fracture happens, we soak, and we just gotta clean up the room. It looks very hectic on mythic. It's not this fast on heroic, so but it's the gist of the fight, and it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be shit. It doesn't look like a very good fight in my opinion, even on heroic. So, but it's much slower. So
Something I did notice is if those pools aren't fully soaked, they start growing again.
yes, yeah, as you can see,
Okay.
yep. So that's all on the raid. Those guys need to be doing a good job of soaking it, because once your room is cleaner, everything becomes easier. So they want to make sure that they do a good job there. So intermission happens, tethers. You and I can soak as much as we can here. So this is about the only one that we can do that we have like a tank mechanic, I'd say, during the fight. It's not really, but you and I can just soak as much as we can here. So you want to watch your stacks. You don't want to die stupidly to this or something like that. But I think here they're taking 1, letting stacks fall off, and so you and I could probably soak 4 or 5 just to help clear up a side, making sure that we're on different sides, and then that kind of reduces the raid damage too. So, and then it's just rinse and repeat. Fracture again, I beam again. That was pointed out a fracture, so, but yeah, all good. Any questions on any of this fight?
No.
Intermission for this one. This is just Fyrak blaze lines here. So this will be a whole raid mechanic that we have to deal with. You and I just kind of stand put. We'll probably stack on top of each other and just soak whatever. It doesn't matter if we get hit by multiple. So that'll make it easier. And then people
This is
just,
the fell rush mechanic.
yeah, fell rush. And then the mechanic here is that you want to make sure that you run along your line and not move your line left and right. So if you need to dodge, you go
Yeah.
left and right on it, or you go within your line, not moving up and down, basically. So into a fracture, into I beam again, and then taunt swap. So last one is just he does the tank mechanics now. He does the Vengeance Demon Hunter mechanics. So in the last intermission, so he jumps and then he does fell dev. That's it. Very easy for us as mobile tanks to get to the sides. So if you get hit by it though, it's not great. So slows you. It's most likely going to spiral out of control. You get hit by the other ones. So and then after that,
So he always fell devs the middle. It's like,
yeah, it looks like he always fell devs or just points in a random direction. Yeah, it doesn't look like middle every time, but
oh, okay.
wherever he jumps to, or she jumps to, if you're on the cone of the outside, you'll be fine. So, and we'll be fine. We can get hit by that tank things. So, but then they start meta for all of them, and they just do. This is the soft and rage. They do all their mechanics at once. So, blaze lines, fell dev, everything. So, this would be like, hey, bosses are at 1%, and bosses need to die together. That's it. So, anything on that one?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, this boss is really simple as well for us. Two basically fights really back to back that are simple. Shockwave Slam. I don't know how many we spawn on Heroic. I think on Mythic you spawn 3. I think we only spawn 1 though. We only spawn 1 wall. So it's probably just best to just go right into the video to look at it. This is Tetris. There's going to be one safe spot, but you and I will be probably on opposite sides, is my guess. We'll have to see how this plays out in Heroic. This will probably be like, this is like where we're ending on day 1, is my thought. Like, we've either just killed Soul Hunters and we have just a little bit, like 1 or 2 pulls for Fractalus. That's kind of the goal, right? Or if we finish at Demon Hunters and that's it, like, that's fine. But this is kind of like, we'll have more information once we get there for Friday, if that makes sense. So, give me 2 seconds.
What's up, CVL?
What's up, brother?
Not much, man.
What's good, man?
You like that Mythic Dungeon pool for next season?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure.
What are you gonna be tanking on?
Probably VDH more than
Oh,
likely.
dude,
It's still
go
gonna
kill
be
yourself.
good.
Go kill yourself.
Okay.
You fucking
Okay.
meta whore.
Okay. All right.
Nah, bro. I'm a VDH main too, so it kind of helps out, right? So
Okay. All right. Ready. All right. So, on Mythic here, there's not a ton of difference between Mythic and Heroic, but for like tanks, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I think tanks will just be on the sides. I think we'll just be. I'll be on like one far side. You'll be on the other side, and because we spawn a wall on our tank mechanic, so Fractal slams his target, inflicting 52 million damage, and this is just a taunt swap, obviously, and a Shockwave Slam and triggers a Crystalline Shockwave. The Shockwave is what creates a Nexus, and when you create a Nexus, these are the Nexuses: Crystal Nexus, Void Nexus, or Crystalline, or that's the Enrage. So it creates either one of these two Nexuses. So this is the lines that also get targeted by all the players. So all the players get targeted here, and that's what I'm trying to explain, is that like our tank mechanic basically also gives us a line, and so that's where I think we'll have like our own corner that will be spawning walls, and so that's what it does there, is it spawns those walls, and we're playing Tetris, so we're just building things. And then, okay, he did a crystalline shockwave on us. Maybe that's a demon hunter. Nah, that doesn't look like a demon hunter. No, they're still stacked to group. It might be that we all stack as a group, and then as the tanks run out, I don't think so. Not on Heroic, at least. I still think on Heroic you'll just have your tanks on the outside. That's my opinion. And then you spawn more walls. As you can see, they have a really high wall right here, and so then breaks come in. So you and I also probably get the breaks, and once we get the breaks, we just break the wall. So I'll let that play out. Here, we'll probably stack. We'll get debuffs on each other. You and I can probably just stack on them, just to reduce the movement or reduce the space. And then it just rinses and repeats. So, unless, is that the tank? That might be the tank right there. So he's going to spawn his own shockwave right here, right? Who is that? That's on Seb. Can I tell if Seb's he's probably a tank. Seb? Yeah. So he's got his own shockwave right here. Different than everybody else's. So he's going to spawn a wall. There's his wall. And he spawned 3 on Mythic. So as you can see here, he spawns 3. On Heroic, you'll still only spawn 1. So that's why he gets back in the group. And then I think the tanks, then you would taunt on that. And then you would, this is everybody in the raid gets these. They spawn extras. And then they have a high one here. They got to break those later. Or don't put any more there. And so it's pulling them backwards. As you can, it's not pulling them backwards, but if it's behind them, they know that they're breaking. And then they smash. Did they not break any here? Holy shit. It'd be like, okay, abort, nobody on purple. Nobody drop anything on purple. But with that, which is fine, because then your purple becomes your new safe spot. So purple becomes the new safe spot. You now have a 5 stacker here, you're going to use that. The tank gets it here. He's going to drop it off far. He was going to, but he drops it off at green. Good old Paladin. Love Paladin. Fucking hate Paladin. Drop some more walls. That's pretty much it. And like I said, on Heroic, I don't think it's 3 for us. I think it's just 1. So, but we'll just need to kind of see that and we'll get a little better idea. But that's basically the only thing that I could look that up probably on a Heroic clip, but that's about the only thing I'm looking at. So that's the whole fight. It's literally we just do the same mechanics as everybody else and it'll be super straightforward for us. Taunt swap on the Shockwave Slam and just make sure that we spawn and break in good spots. So.
Okay.
This boss is probably going to hurt too. His melees are probably going to really hurt, is my guess. So, but this will be later in the fight, or later in the tier. So, at least I'm mythic. Sweet. Time for the fun one. All right. I don't know if I'm going to look at a video here as much as explain this one. Oh, let's see here. All right, let's do center. Pretty straightforward. Okay, actually, not straightforward, but the first part of the fight is all on us. I said in my guide or whatever, I think if your group is going to fail on Heroic Salad Bar, it's because your tanks fucking suck. That's why. That's my 2 cents. That's my hot take. So, everybody gets Oathbound. Basically, you get 3 stacks. 3 applications of Oathbound. These have to get removed. Did you ever do Sarkrath at all?
Yeah.
Sarkrath, it's the same thing as Sarkrath. So you get these Oathbound stacks, and you have to remove them. And how you remove them is by getting hit by the group soak, basically. If you don't, you become MC'd. Pretty straightforward. So, what's difficult about this? We have, in my opinion, we'll have probably, I don't know, you might start middle, you might start down a little bit. You're going to have 2 groups. You're going to have here, you're going to have here. And we'll just say, I'm orange, you're star. He comes out with a series of tank mechanics. On the PTR, the first ones were scripted. After that, they weren't scripted. So what happens here is he's going to do either group soak or tank frontal. And I've got it all right here. So I looked at 5 different guilds on PTR testing. And if you look at the first set here, this first set, everybody was the same. It went group soak, tank frontal, group soak. So that was all across all 5 guilds that I checked. For the second set, if you look at here, some groups got tank frontal first. Everybody actually got tank frontal first, but then there was some differences in what came next. Some people got tank frontal. Some people got tank frontal group soak. And if you look at the third set, some groups skipped it just due to being low health. Some people got tank frontal group soak. Some people got group soak tank frontal, group soak, tank frontal, and some people got tank frontal, group soak. So there's a lot of like, it wasn't scripted besides the first one. So I guess for the most success here, the first one's scripted, but I don't want to think about the first one. I want to think about how would you deal with this every single time. And I hope they keep it this way. I don't expect them to. I expect them to this was probably a bug, and they'll probably fix it, and it'll become straightforward. You'll be able to tell on normal. But if you take any of these, 2 of these, you're going to take increased damage, right? So if you look at in-game, if you take, what is it? Okay, Conquer and Vanish are the 2 abilities. So Conquer this is split with everybody, and players struck by, they lose the stack Oathbound, and they increase the damage taken from Conquer by 100%. And then the Vanquish is a big AoE frontal, and increase the damage taken from Vanquish by 100%. So this is a 12.4 million physical damage hit and an additional 25 million shadow damage to all players in front of them. So you don't want only the tanks this one. This is the group soak, and this is the tank frontal. So, thinking about this, you could have so many different options here, right? Like it could have been tank frontal, group soak, tank frontal. It could have been tank frontal, group soak. It could have been, so many different options. So like, how do you deal with this consistently if this is how they're going to keep it? So what you would do is on the first one, let's say I start with the boss. I will take group soak first. So I will put my group soak on orange. So I bring my big circle onto the group. The whole group takes this. You're also just stacked over here on your group. You don't taunt here, okay? I'm going to take a tank frontal next. I'm fine. I don't have 2 debuffs yet. I'm going to have 2 debuffs after this. I'm going to have the group soak debuff, and I'm going to tank frontal debuff. So I'm going to then, as soon as I know that, I'm going to roll over, and I'm going to take my tank frontal this way. So obviously this goes here, big tank frontal, right? Nobody gets hit by me, okay? Now I've got a debuff of the tank frontal and the group soak, and what's the next mechanic that comes out? Group or tank frontal. So I'm gonna take a lot of fucking damage from this, which is fine. I think that this would be a great spot when you would use mud, bomb suit, anything like big defensives and a tank trinket. Double the damage of what's listed here. You know, you're looking at a 25 million physical hit, which is most of going to be pretty close to all of your health, and then 50 million shadow damage. I think with a tank trinket and big defensives or whatever you're running, so like dampen harm plus I don't know diffuse magic, that would be enough for me. But I would do that plus a tank trinket plus a celestial brew, whatever, and stagger already. I think you'd live basically. I think you'd live just fine. So that would be the spot where it'd be like, okay, we've gotten through the first set. We've done the first 3 mechanics. You would taunt after that. So then the off tank would take the group soak and you wouldn't have to use nothing. You wouldn't have to use meta, nothing. You'd save all your cooldowns, right? So then after the frontal comes through, tanks, you would taunt and then you would just do a group soak onto this side. And that group soak happens. Does that first set make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does, but I feel like we're making it harder than it seems. But I'm just listening to see how it develops.
Sure, because on the first set, you're exactly right. You could do main tank here, main tank, then it's taunt, off tank, off tank. So that would work 100%. But what happens on the second set when it's random and you have no idea what the mechanic's going to come? So group soak comes out. Okay. Well, the next mechanic could be group soak or tank frontal. So you could say tank frontal, but you have no idea. And you can't taunt in between. As soon as it's locked onto you, it's locked onto you. Okay, so after you take tank frontal, now let's just say you taunted here. You taunt here. Now we have tank. Okay, you've got the tank frontal. Well, the next mechanic could be tank frontal or group soak, right? And I already have group soak, so if I taunt here, I could get the tank frontal or I could get group soak. And I already have group soak debuff. So then we're still in the same position where I need to take double group soak, and then you would maybe have to taunt back for the frontal, or I keep it for the frontal.
What question?
Mhm.
How long is the debuff?
Long enough that it would matter.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, could you just taunt in between every single one? Like, taunt swap everyone? Like, what's the time? What's the time? What's the timeline on the mechanic versus what's the timeline on the debuff? Like, say it's random and it's just like you set it up for the second time,
You wouldn't
where
have
it's
enough.
group
You wouldn't
soak,
have taunt
tank
back up for the
frontal.
last one. Taunt won't be back up for the
You-
last one, basically. So if you taunted here, it comes out every 3 seconds. So then you taunt
Okay.
at the end of this, and then you'd have tank frontal, and then I could taunt here, but then this would be 6 seconds in between these two. So then your taunt would be back up for the 8-second group soak. So you can't taunt between every single one.
Okay.
So kind of what I was thinking is, let's say we split it up, group 1, group 2, right? Main tank, off tank, right? So like, let's say you get the group soak.
Mhm.
Depending on what the next thing is if we taunt or not. Does that kind of make sense? So like, if it's a tank frontal, you keep almost like a combo, right? Like we treat it like a 4-piece combo. You keep, right? And then from there, depending, like no matter what, it's always gonna be group soak or tank frontal afterwards, right? And so I take the next 2.
That's correct.
Easy, right?
So
Let's
you would say
it's
that after the first one, I would keep no matter what. You're saying after the first mechanic, I keep no matter what.
if it is a tank frontal after. So it's a group soak. If it's not a group soak again, then you keep.
But when
But
we
let's
still
say
have the
it's group
same
soak,
issue
group
where I have to
soak.
do double group soak. So then I still need to do
what
double.
So what I'm thinking is like, okay, it's group soak, right? Taunt is what? 10-second cooldown?
8 seconds.
So if it's 8-second?
Mhm.
So if it's group soak and then group soak, right? Group soak, you take, and then I take the next one, and then you take, because after that, it's going to be 2 tank frontals.
Yeah,
So you take,
are you saying after every single time that the first mechanic comes out, you taunt afterwards?
no. It's dependent on what's coming after. So like you will always take the first one,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a tank frontal or group soak.
Yep.
If it's a group soak, right, that number 1, and a group soak number 2, right, on the second piece of the combo, I taunt. So it'd be off tank here in column O, yeah. And then the next two mechanics are going to be 2 tank frontals.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, is that you'd have to taunt before this comes out. So group soak happens, like it's happening, it's done in like 1 second. You have to taunt
Hmm.
to make sure that you have the boss, so you get the next mechanic. Like it can't be like group soak comes out and then you taunt and then you get the debuff on you. Like it instantly happens. It's like group soak comes out and then like whoever has taunted like before this mechanic finishes, almost like Gallywix, right? Like we taunt like at zero point 0.8 seconds. That's who the next mechanic will go on. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So it's not like we
Yes.
can taunt in between, or we can't taunt in between, or we can't taunt knowing what the mechanic will be. Like, okay, if you taunt and then there's a little delay, and then it says, okay, it's group soak, then you take the group soak. Like you would have had to taunt while I'm dealing with this mechanic. Does that make sense?
I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We can watch this real quick. So let's watch this real quick, and we'll see how it comes out here.
Is there a way that you could maybe game it by always taunting after the first one to see what the second one is? So that I mean that you know what the next two are.
It's kind of
Mm,
what Demo
Right. Well,
was.
like always taunt after the first one because like
I think
you
it's just
have the
the opposite.
highest
Is
variability.
you always taunt over the third one. That's what I think. Here, let me just show you. Here, so he's gonna do the tank frontal, right? Let me make sure the speed's not sped up. If anything, speed it down. So tank frontal, instantly into the next one. So it's a tank frontal. So this guy had to take 2 tank frontals, so he bubbles. And then you know it's group soak, group soak. So he shouldn't have taunted because this guy actually took 2 frontals. The paladin took 2 frontals, so he doesn't have the group soak debuff. He should have kept. He should just kept it. Okay, so he
Yeah.
takes that. Okay, so now he puts it on the group. The paladin actually gets in there. He probably, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they, I mean, whatever. But you know, like then the tank debuff already is on it, so he has double. That's fine. So like that's the pace of it, right? Is that like it's just there, you can't taunt in between. It's like once it's locked onto the player, it's gonna do it. So then it's not
So
like here he can taunt. No, it's on this person. So it's not like if this was on the Brewmaster, the Vengeance Demon Hunter can taunt and be like, oh, he gets the group soak now. It's like no, it's already locked onto him. Van, your question?
Yeah, as
I,
it's when it's casting, it's locked onto that target. It's not a thing where you can taunt and switch targets, right?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
so my only thought with that is the the old talking about the door where the probability is different depending on what you know is behind the next door,
Sure.
right? So it's like if you always taunted on the after the first one, you have what a 33% chance that it's going to be the same one, and if you taunt after the first one, then you have a 50% chance. You know, so that
It's the same thing. I think it's just the yeah, it's the same thing as doing it as the opposite. So what I think is our strat for this is in they could change it and make it all scripted, right? But if it's just assuming when we get there even on normal and it's not scripted, what we should do is we should do tank mechanic 1, tank 1. Let's do tank mechanic 1, and then it's gonna be tank mechanic. I'll just do. What the fuck am I typing all this shit out for? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 mechanics that we have to deal with. So it'll be main tank, main tank, main tank, off tank. So the chances are that it could be group soak or frontal. That's fine. It doesn't matter. There's a chance that he could then also that main tank could then take the same thing, a group soak or a frontal. This is when they use their major cooldown. If they've used their major cooldown here, so you put CD right here, that's fine because this is a double. This is a frontal frontal or a group soak, right? That's what these two are. Then, no matter what, the third one is either going to be where he would then use his cooldown, because if it wasn't group soak, or frontal frontal, it was group soak frontal, which is completely fine. And then this would be the double. This would be where he uses a CD, and then the off tank would taunt right at this spot, right as soon as his mechanic's done, and then he just takes 1 of anything, which doesn't matter.
all
Okay,
right,
so
and
I used
then
a big cooldown. I used a big cooldown, right? I used my trinket. That's fine. One of my trinkets. So, and I used maybe like dampen harm. Okay. Then CBL, you would do it. So you're holding the boss. So now this would be off tank, off tank, off tank, and then main tank. Keeping it simple. It's always just taunt on the fourth one, before the fourth one, right? So then I would taunt here, and then you would just be watching for. You've got plenty of time. It's a 3-second cast, so the group soak or the tank frontal is like a 3-second like frontal. So you would just say, okay, like whatever this is. Let's just say this is group soak, and then this is frontal, and then this is group soak. So you'd be like, okay, now I use my big cooldown here. I use fiery brand plus ringing ritual of mud and felt dev or something like that. I taunt here. I take a single stack. I don't have to do anything. The phase lasts 2
Question.
minutes. 1 second. It goes through 3 rotations. I tank the boss again. And then I would have Celestial Brew up, and now I have Fort Brew, plus I have my second defensive trinket. I'll use Bomb Suit for an example. Now I use nothing, and then I'm going to use my cooldown here, nothing, and then you taunt here. Van, your question.
So you said the phase lasts long enough for all the debuffs to drop in between the off tank grabbing a whatever debuff stack. So you wouldn't have to do like a weird thing where the off tank taunts at the first set for the fourth thing, and then that debuff stays on, and say it's a tank frontal at 4, right? For the first set.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 1 for the first set, it's a tank frontal again, and it would refresh its debuff.
No, it'd be fine.
And so you would. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that'd be fine. CBL, any questions on this?
No.
Yeah, I think it's just.
I'm just trying to think of ways to optimize damage.
Yeah,
Tank damage. Sorry.
I think they'll. Whatever they did for the first set, I think they're just gonna do. They're gonna make it so it's scripted. But I think this handles us day one if it's not scripted, knowing that our main tank will take on first and third set is going to take a big hit, and they have to know how to deal with the big hit. And then our off tank will take one big hit, and then you're just dumping the house on number 3. So that's pretty much it there.
Okay.
This is like the biggest part for phase 1. They don't have much more for mythic testing, but that's fine. This fight, again, that's just making sure that we clear those group soaks and clear their stacks. No big deal. These are images. They do claws. It's all group stuff. It's not tank stuff. Nothing that we have to deal with. So phase 1 is done. He's then going to do stage 2, Rider of the Dark. And the big thing here that will wipe the group, and I think this might be, we'll have to see. I think this might just be one, it's an interesting thing. When it says phase 2, you usually think like, phase 2 is going to last a while. This doesn't last long at all. It lasts 1 minute, but it happens twice. So it's phase 2, intermission phase 2, then phase 3, which is like kind of weird. They've never like really done that before, so it's interesting. So nothing we have to really worry about from Nexus King here. This dimension breath is what we have to worry about. So he's going to do a Cosmic Maw on one of the tanks. So I would think that you would probably take the Cosmic Maw, and I think you will probably want to keep this. I think this is only going to happen once in the phase. So it only lasts for a minute. So basically you take the Cosmic Maw, and the reason being is that it's you're going to take the physical damage, and then it's going to increase the damage taken from the breath by 100%. So once you take the Cosmic Maw, then I will taunt the boss, and I take the breath. And so the reason why I kind of want the breath here as a Brewmaster is that the target's existence unravels after 2 seconds, inflicting cosmic damage proportional to the damage taken from the dimension breath to all players. So if I do Celestial Brew and Ringing Ritual Mud, let's just say for 2 examples, I will take no damage from this, and the raid takes no damage. So I think Brewmaster would be better for the breath. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So I think that'll be, when we get into the phase, you'll start with the boss. This will be phase 2. You'll start with boss, and then I'll taunt swap on the Maw, and then I'll pop, Celestial Brew and Mud, and then we'll take that. If it does it twice, I doubt it. I don't think it does. It's pretty quick. They might even get to there. They might even get to it. I don't think so, but it is pretty crazy that top 5 world guild or whatever hardly gets through this, and Liquid was like, oh yeah, we got to phase 3. It's so funny. They're just showing some of their testing. I could look up Heroic too. Heroic King Saladar. Nexus King Saladar. Pull it up real quick. Yeah, so we'll go 2 minutes. So he does this. We get out. No big deal. So you would start here. You pretty much point the boss to the front. We wait, because it's going to be, it won't actually matter. I just have to make sure that I point the breath. I don't make sure I point the breath. So the Cosmic Ball right there, they taunt swapped, and then he's going to do a frontal, and then I get hit by the frontal, and then anything afterwards, you'll see their health here blows up just a little bit. So nothing big, but I think it must have been a Brewmaster that took it. So frontal here in 3 seconds, as you can see, Celestial Brew, and then into another trinket or something. So He took no damage, and then the raid took no damage. From here, we'll go to our sides. Pretty straightforward. You and I will just split up. We just taunt everything, bring it all together. There's kicks here. There's going to be a rotation that we do from the boss. Hopefully they see it. Yes. Nexus beams, really slow, pretty basic. This is even sped up, so. And we just have to meet the DPS check of killing the Sentinel. So. The big Titan in the middle. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
This is where they'll finish this. And then they'll get back to the
Oh, we're
platform.
going to try to run double DH on this fight?
No. Dread had already said shit like that too. Dread was like, "Well, what about Brewmaster on this side?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm not splitting up sides based on like, oh, 3%. I don't give a fuck." You know? And he's like, and we're talking about like specifically Demencius, and it's like, well, what if Demencius you go side to side? You want to make sure. And then I looked up the logs, and logs you can basically look at like who's the top damage by magic by doing, like this is what I did. So I went here. And I was like looking at like Muggsy, for example, and I was like, okay, where's our most recent kill? I was like, okay, you do ability type does not equal 1, run the script, and this is who does the most. And I was like, all right, I was like, here's your top damage of these players, and it was basically like Dread was left out or something like that. I was like, yeah, sorry, Dread, like you just missed the cut, man. And I was like, yep, you got to go with the
That's
Brewmaster,
funny.
man. You don't do enough magical damage because other people do more. So, but yeah, I mean. I don't think so. Even when we get there, we're going to have a 12, 15% damage buff. If we can't fucking kill it without one extra DH on the side, then we got problems. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
so then this is where you go back into phase 2 again. That's where it's really weird. This doesn't start phase 3. This is phase 2. So this would be like you start with the bodice again. You're going to take the Cosmic Chomp here in a second. So he does this into Cosmic Chomp. I should like calling it that, Cosmic Chomp. There's the Cosmic Maw right there. There's the Chomp, and then I taunt, and I'll take the frontal, and then probably Brewmaster again. No, I think maybe it's the Paladin taking it this time, maybe? And then
Look at
blows
those
up.
beams coming out from the side.
These beams are from the people that drop them, so they drop these. I don't know how this is going to work on Heroic, because there's no rhyme or reason which way the beams point. So what if you just get fucked by RNG? I have no idea. It also, like, I also said in my guide, it was like, okay, well, what if you put him in the back of the room? Look at this guy. Like this guy has no fucking clue where they are. He moves up even just a little bit. He has no clue what way the beams are pointing. He's just lucky the beam didn't point at him. He's like, oh, frontal, sure, whatever. All right, I think I'm good. Like, what if it was pointing right at him? Sure. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. That's gonna be tough. This starts the damage amp here. Nothing that we have to do as tanks. We just dodge lines and we just hit the dragon. The boss takes reduced damage, 99%, but the dragon takes the damage amp. I don't think you lust here. I think you lost the next phase. Really nothing, I don't think, in the last phase mechanically for us to do as well. There's no tank mechanics, basically. So, just a Star Shatter. We just taunt on this, pretty much. We'll also get the orbits. We'll get things to kill. We'll get the stars. Pretty much it. So I'll just play that out. But you can see tanks will also get this mechanic. So one of the tanks will have this. So they'll run this out. And they put them on different lines. They're kind of practicing for Mythic, I think. That's what they're thinking, so they don't want to run into these. And then we just kind of pull the boss wherever it's safe. There might be that by the time we get to it, this will be Friday stuff, hopefully. There might be like a pattern that we need to go to. It might be solved, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Tank will get that star killer swing, and you just run. You don't have to run behind it. You just have to be pointing it at it. So we point at it, and it blows it up. So I think they all hit the same one. You probably want to hit different ones. So, but that is pretty much the fight. These people run behind it. You don't have to run behind it though. So, and then he spawns more
nice.
circles. So it'll be interesting to see, and we'll have probably this will be like Friday looking to kill this, or this will be the majority of our progression on Friday. Friday we're killing, or we're coming back in on Monday to kill. So, and that's that. Demencius,
Good.
I have no idea. I'm not even going to talk about it much. It's just basically like, I don't know how the fight's going to play out. It's I got a video that says something, but like we just got to be within the boss. If we don't, he's gonna you got to be within 15 yards. Big smash, tank soak basically, I think, or it's just a tank, or it's just a tank big damage, spawns the living masses, defeat the living masses, get the gravity, go from there. Um, Pretty straightforward for phase one. Intermission on phase two. This is what's interesting. Upon reaching 15 applications, the target is thrown into oblivion, so every auto attack that he has successful, if he gets up to 15, kills the tank. So is that like your soft enrage, or is there actually going to be mechanics that we have to figure out how we're going to be able to parry or kite? Being two mobile tanks might be easy. So, we'll have to see. But then just
Yep.
stage three, it's basically the repeat of it for us. The only difference is that there's a collapsing star, and I think it pulls us into it, or we have a mechanic. It might be only mythic. Let me double check. Collapses space on the attempt to crush the target, so he tries to crush the tank, and it does grips players within 12 yards. So I don't think this is going to be like a. I think it's Sire Denathrius had like a grip where he gripped the whole group in. I don't think you're going to have that here. I think this is just you want to make sure as tanks, you just in the phase three you want to stay away from the group, at least 12 to 20 yards. So and then it's just a taunt swap on that. So, but I imagine that this is he's going to hit like a fucking truck is my guess. But so, but yeah, that should be it. I think overall, yeah, I think like I said, I think as long as we go defensive in week one, just with the trinkets, whether it's mud, I think mud trinket would be a good one for sure. I think mud's great. I love mud. You got chrome bustable bomb suit, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think running mud plus bomb suit just to be safe. And then in week two, we can start to min-max, even on normal, just in case. And with me raid leading, there might be a missed taunt or something like that. You might get an extra stack, and it's just knowing that, like, just in case that happens, you've got an extra defensive if needed. So, and I would also say, like, defensive builds. Like, as defensive as we can get. Our damage won't matter at all, but the more that we can live, and the less that the healers have to worry about us, they'll make up for mistakes on the raid. So the raid will, obviously, people make fuck ton of mistakes, and they will take a lot of extra damage. So less heals and less big heals that have to go into us and can go into the raid. I think overall will be good. So,
Yeah, sounds good.
any questions?
No, I don't think so. Not for me. It's pretty straightforward. But yeah, Van, you got something?
Just a personal question for Demo.
Yeah, sure.
You posted in the August 12th, 5:30 a.m. The raid's releasing before reset.
August 13th. Do you work the 13th? Sorry.
I am off the 13th.
Oh, look at that.
Supposedly.
Look at that.
So
We've got a full 30. Let's go. So, yeah, should be good. How
Got
much
a buddy that applied too.
Say that-
I don't know.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if we're still looking for people, but I got a buddy that applied.
Did he apply through the app?
Yes. Yeah, I had him apply through the app.
When did he apply? I
He's a
just
pretty-
asked. I just asked Shal if there was anybody yesterday, and he said no.
Maybe later in the evening.
Sure.
I don't remember.
So,
But he's a DK main, but he literally flexes anything that's meta. So
is he pretty good or?
yeah, he's someone I would recommend.
Sweet.
He was trialing with Jump on J before they got CE. Like 2 months before they got CE, I think. So
Jump on
and
J.
I think Jump on J beat us by 2 weeks this year. But he took this tier off.
Nice. And what's his character name? Is it Nynx?
It's Mayan DK. Yeah, he wasn't with them this season, so
Mayan DK.
but
How do
he
you
was
spell Mayan?
trialing with them. Mian DK, yeah.
Sargeras? Yeah, he's not EU.
Sargeras, yeah.
All right, he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he have
So,
CE
he's,
experience before. I mean, we'll definitely take him, but
No, he doesn't, but he's someone that I would recommend. Always pretty solid mechanically.
sure. Does he have a preference on DK, like you said, or would he play something else?
He would play something else if needed to, but he really likes DK, of
Sure.
course.
We'll play DK. That's fine.
So,
Yeah, Shal just linked me.
but
this.
he'll probably just reroll to anything that's meta, that's Mythic Plus at least, and he'll probably keep two up.
I love DK. not really, but perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. Child just got that. We'll look at that. We'll most likely take him. So yeah, I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah.
Well,
We
looks
like
like I don't
recommendations.
need to be there for the 13th.
Yep. See you later, Van. No, you know somebody will be gone. You already know it. You already know somebody will be gone, so it'll be like, oh yeah.
For the first week?
Yeah, yeah. For the first week, there'll be somebody that oversleep. It'll be CBL. CBL will be oversleeping, so I'll be like, ah, fuck.
Probably,
CBL.
bro. I'll be 7 of 8 again this fucking tier,
Yeah,
bro.
you'll miss the first boss. You'll be like, ah, fuck. You'll be like, yep, we're never re-clearing Plexus Sentinel again. Yeah, that sounds good.
You're sitting every Plexus Sentinel.
On Tuesday of the reset of for raid on the 12th, are you running keys in the day or what are you looking like?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I don't know if you have
1,000%.
As long as I don't work, whatever my practice schedule is, I'll run keys outside of my practice schedule, but
What do you coach for practice?
volleyball.
Ugh, God.
Yeah, so I'm like a varsity assistant for a small 3A school.
Oh,
And
nice.
I also
nice, nice.
coach club for like future D1 athletes.
Nice. I know some Brazilian guys that came up to the U.S. and they coach volleyball.
Yeah.
that's CBL.
Yeah.
He's a Brazilian. Just like
He's
Yeah, no,
he's
that's
not
me.
Brazilian.
Just like DG.
He's just dirty.
It's just- that's DG, bro. That's not me, man.
Yeah, I think no thoughts on like what we tank. I guess it's not like we need to hit anything. Just and it doesn't even matter for item level really. I mean, we're gonna be fine. So I think 684 coming into this raid. Be
Get
completely
that
fine
sack
for
brute early.
Roger. Yeah, I mean if we can get, I mean any loot that we can get, obviously from Mythic Plus, but obviously the DPS are a bigger thing. Like if they can, if most of our DPS can run keys and get to like, you know, close to 690 before they even step in, obviously that's gonna help us more than our tanks being 690. But yeah, I was just wondering. I have no thoughts on like tanks or anything like that for Mythic Plus, so I think we're all good.
You're not gonna cuck me and leave me with the worst key runners, are you?
Yes, I will. I will be doing that. So.
God.
They didn't demo run with you the beginning of last season?
I ran with Demo. I
No,
tanked for
That's
Demo.
the other way around.
I tanked for Demo.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
I was coming into the season as a feral main, and I was like, I'll tank for you.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. That's the other way around, bud.
Other than that, I think that is it. I think we've got a good plan. If you have any questions on any of the fights, let me know. But otherwise, I think we've talked about most of them, and I'm gonna post this as a video just for myself, also to like possibly rewatch back what we do and what we're planning on doing for the season, just to make sure that we know what we're doing. We're prepped. We're prepped for every boss. Really, that Saladar boss is the only one that has that like a mechanic like where we do like we need to make sure we have a big defensive, which is interesting that like because okay, let's say you fucked up a defense or I fucked up a defensive, sorry. Not blaming you. And it's like oh, I died. Okay, B-res me, no big deal, right? And it's like, but if like I don't use a defensive for this, it's like, oh fuck, what did we die to, right? And like that's where like a lot of groups will have this problem, right? Like it'll be the Cosmic Maw, and like if they don't taunt, then all of a sudden the tank just takes a big fucking hit, and like they're just getting blasted by this beam, and then the raid just completely blows up, and everyone's just gonna be like, what did we wipe to? And you know the tanks will be like, oh, I fucking know, probably a healer problem. You know what I mean? You know, it's like that's exactly what happened. Where it's like this is like the only mechanic where it's like we have to know what it does and how it affects our raid. Every other mechanic is like just pretty straightforward. It's more of the movement as tanking is in Mythic and Heroic. It's like we just have to make sure our movements are on point. So the raid's always gonna follow us. So, but awesome. If you need anything else, just let me know, sir. Otherwise, thanks for the time. Appreciate it, and I will talk to you both later.
Yeah, no, we're good, man.
Perfect. Ciao.